So my most recent article was very well received. It was basically just on how, like, it was called Misconceptions of the Far Right, link in the description, on how, hey, like, all these people are being misconstrued as far right intentionally. Like, all these people, all these journalists are writing articles, and whenever there's someone that's even remotely, like, center-right, and some even anywhere even close to being right-wing, they're like, oh, this person's far right, this person's far right. Even if they're centrist, they're called far right. And what I have here, now, everyone that actually read the article seemed to think it was really good, got some positive reviews, even got a positive review from Sargon, which was cool. But the interesting thing is there are no doubt going to be people that would disagree with that are going to say, no, like, these people are legitimately far right, these people are neo-Nazis. I'm going to show this in action here. Like, live, this is happening, these tweets are quite recent. I'm going to show you in action, like, this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. This is some guy named Nathan Bernard. I've never heard of him before, so he's not that important. But the fact that he has a check mark next to his name means something. Because I'm not trying to be like those articles where two people on Twitter, one of which is like an anonymous account that was made 10 minutes ago, and the second of which has 3 followers. Two of those people say something, and then someone writes an article saying, the internet is crazy about this, or people are saying this, and they quote these 2 random nobodies. I'm talking here about people with verified check marks, and if you have a check mark, that means Twitter has considered you important enough that you're enough of a public figure that you deserve a verified check mark as someone that people would actively go looking for on the internet. Now, the thing with these verified checkmark people, a lot of them happen to be very, like, official establishment journalists, and we can see right here how they are slandering people like Tim Pool, of all people, as far right. Now, if you don't know who Tim Pool is, he's kind of like a more on-the-ground journalist, commentator, YouTuber, whatever you want to call him. He's in line. He's liked by a lot of right wingers because he's very fair. He's very he talks to a lot of right wingers. He talks to a lot of far right people. He has conversations with them. He reports on them, and he's very fair. Like, I consider him, like, he's able to really approach something pretty fairly, in my opinion. And when his bias gets involved, it's clear. Like, he's not even trying to hide his bias. He's like, this is what I see, and I think he is what we would consider a good journalist. Now, the thing is, I don't follow him too carefully, but I have watched enough of him to know that he is pretty center left, or maybe even moderate left. I might actually call him moderate left, because he is probably not a socialist, most likely like a social democrat type. Someone that is kind of a fan of, like, Bernie Sanders, or more the policies of Bernie Sanders than really what Bernie represents, but kind of somewhere along those lines. Again, I'm a bit iffy because I do not, like, watch his entire channel religiously. That's just the feeling I get from a few what he said here and there, like talking about certain things. He's definitely left-wing, I can say that much. He is definitely left-wing. And yet, here we have journalists. This guy apparently writes for Bernard Media. I assume it's his own thing, like it's something he made, considering his name is Nathan Bernard. And he says, Joe Rogan is currently live streaming with conspiracy theorist Tim Pool. Pool is known for being a moronic neo-Nazi lapdog that has defended Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes. A week after hosting Alex Jones, Rogan is again proving why he is a gateway to the alt-right. Again, the funny thing I find here is that none of these people he just listed are alt-right. Like, Joe Rogan, I guess he didn't accuse Joe Rogan of being alt-right, but he called him a gateway to the alt-right. I can't think of a single alt-right person that Rogan has had on his show. Like, not a single one, to be honest there. So here, he's talking about Pool being a moronic neo-Nazi. Again, once you say moronic, you're throwing out, you're showing you're just being angry and not actually, and we can pretty much dismiss anything after there. Neo-Nazi lapdog. Again, like, I don't know where he gets that from. Like, is he bowing down to the far right? Like, honestly, he's so left-wing that a lot of right-wingers don't really like Tim Pool that much because he's so left-wing. Because for that reason, they bring up defended Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes. Okay, does defending Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes make you a horrible person? Does it? I've defended, what's her name? Dianne Feinstein, that's it. I've defended Dianne Feinstein. And obviously, like, you might need to wonder, if you're thinking in the right manner, you might think, oh, like, what was the context? What was the reason for that? And the reason of it, I'll leave a link in the description to where I did actually defend her, and I even started the video with, I can't believe I'm defending her. But I have defended Dianne Feinstein. Does that make me a leftist? Does that make me a corporate liberal? It's like, he's defended Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes. Neither of those people are alt-right. They're certainly right-wing. But again, where's the context? Like, any principled person will often find themselves defending someone like on the opposite side of the political spectrum if they want to be fair and they see something unjust happening and they want to defend him. A week after hosting Alex Jones, again, Alex Jones is not alt-right. In fact, the alt-right doesn't really like Alex Jones from what I can see, because Alex Jones really seems to like Israel. And they don't take too kindly to that. But yeah, here's he threw in a few screenshots here. The tweet by Jack Dorsey of Twitter, the CEO of Twitter, who obviously, if you didn't know what this was referencing by now, Joe Rogan is on with Jack Dorsey, some woman that works for Twitter, I've never heard of her before, and Tim Pool. And over here on the second picture, they have a picture of Tim Pool with some people that actually are legitimately alt-right. They have Brittany Pettibone. I have no idea if she's alt-right, but she seems to be alt-light, maybe. I have no idea, but she's definitely pretty close, if not part of it. Again, I don't want to slander her as something, because I don't know, but she's definitely in that area. James Alsop, who is definitely one of those identity politics people, it seems like, and Baked Alaska, who I know is alt-right. Or at least he was 2 years ago, the last time I listened to a podcast episode with him. These people are alt-right, sure. And there's Tim Pool. Okay. What does this prove? I need to know notice that the funny thing is, how everyone here is all, smiling, and they're doing the okay sign and all that. They're all glad to be there, and Tim Pool's kind of hidden, to be honest, because I know Tim Pool said before that he really doesn't like to be in pictures with these people, because people are, morons will do this, and they'll be like, oh my god, look, he's an evil person, because he's with James Alsop and Baked Alaska and all that, therefore he's a neo-Nazi. So he tries not to be in pictures like that. What's he doing here, though? Is he having conversations with people? Even if these people are alt-right, that doesn't mean they're, neo-Nazis. As far as I can tell, they're not neo-Nazis. Again, I don't know too much about these three people besides, conversations and recordings I've seen with them on other YouTube channels. But again, what does this prove? All this proves is that he is willing to talk to the alt-right, which I don't see as a bad thing. Are we at the point where, are we going to do another, are we going to do just the Alternative Influence Network thing, the Data and Society Report? Are we going to do that same kind of thing where we're going to say Sargon is collaborating with Richard Spencer, and by collaboration they meant had a debate with? This, I don't know, where's the context? Give me something here. And instead of just, oh my god, proof, pictures. And then there's a very blurry Cassandra Fairbanks tweet. I don't know if that's his picture, if that's my internet. Also, Tim Cast, who didn't make it into the first one. Laura Loomer, Gavin McInnes, Brittany Pettibone. Again. Okay? What does this prove? I'm very confused here. I fail to see what he's trying to prove here. And then, yes, of course, Count Dankula replied in the hilarious way. But here's another one, also by Nathan Bernard. Far-right conspiracy theorist Tim Pool is currently on Joe Rogan's podcast. Again, far-right. There's the far-right term. Where's your evidence for this? You have shown that he is in a picture with some... can we say that CNN is far-right? Can we say that CNN is far-right now? They have talked to Richard Spencer. They have sent CNN journalists to interview Richard Spencer. There are pictures of CNN journalists talking to Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer has been on CNN. Can we say that the CNN network is now far-right? Again, context is important. But yeah, far-right conspiracy theorist Tim Pool is currently on Joe Rogan's podcast. Pool is shouting at Jack Dorsey, spreading misinformation about conservatives being silenced on Twitter. I don't think it's misinformation, considering Tim Pool seems to really know his stuff when it comes to online censorship. He seems to really pay attention to this stuff. And when I was listening to his first time on Rogan, it's like this guy is really following this stuff. If anyone knows anything about the internet censorship going on Twitter, it's him, which is why it's so fantastic that Joe Rogan put him on with Jack Dorsey in the same episode where they can talk together. That's hilarious, or that fantastic. Both hilarious, because it's just to see Tim Pool just dishing it out at Jack Dorsey is hilarious, and it's great. It's awesome. Rogan is massively complicit in giving a platform to these free speech hucksters. Again, like, he's complicit in what, like, he's complicit. Yes, he's complicit in hosting people. Okay, can anyone name me someone that is legitimately like an actual unapologetic white supremacist that has been on Rogan's podcast? Because if people see people saying that, like, oh, Rogan's a gateway to the far right. Can you name me one person that is legitimately far right in the sense of alt-right or further that has been on Joe Rogan's podcast? I can't think of it. I can't think of it at all. Anyone that is like actually said like the white race is superior to everyone else, I cannot think of a single person. I haven't watched all his episodes, so hey, maybe I'm wrong. I'm asking you people to tell me. I haven't seen it. And this is by Dan OSullivan, who does not seem to be a journalist, but whose articles have appeared on other things before. If I zoom out quick, I can see it in the corner there. Rolling Stone, Vice, and Jacobin. There's some three right there. His stuff has appeared. So he is also a verified checkmark lefty dude. Oh, I could have just scrolled over there. But yes, he's also apparently influential enough that he can give out this information. And I mean, he's got 55,000 followers, so this isn't some nobody. But yeah, just the CEO of Twitter hanging out with Tim Pool, a Nazi propagandist. Again, the whole point of like what I'm trying to say here is if Tim Pool is a Nazi propagandist, if Tim Pool is far right, then anyone that isn't a rabid socialist is far right under this definition. And it's like, I see people, especially a lot of people in the Libertarian Party, trying to shy away from this, trying to be like super professional, like, oh, like, no, we don't align with the far right. We shun anyone that's part of the far right. And they're trying to be super apologetic about distancing themselves between these so-called Nazis. And it's like, no, I don't care. Like, it's not, like, I don't care. People have called me Nazis before. No, not anyone professional like this. Not professional, that's the wrong word. Not anyone with a grand following, but like, people, there are comments, if you go back through my old videos, there are comments of people calling me Nazis, or calling me a Nazi. Actually, I've been accused of working for Soros and the Koch brothers in the same comment thread too, which is funny. But yeah, like, this is someone with a big following calling Tim Pool a Nazi propagandist. 1.6 thousand likes. This should be something that you look at and you're like, this is nuts. This is absolutely just completely gone. The fact that Tim Pool, of all people, who is like a Bernie supporter, not... Again, I know he's criticized Bernie in the sense that, like, if you were to replace Bernie's he's criticized Bernie's personality, but seems to be a fan of Bernie's positions, like political positions of what he was doing as president. I would say that's a good way of probably characterizing Tim Pool from the interviews I've seen. And they're calling this dude, again, someone who likes Bernie Sanders, or like who likes the policies of Bernie Sanders. I have to correct myself. Someone who likes the policies of Bernie Sanders is now a Nazi propagandist. Like, that's where we're at right now. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just unplug this quick. This is dissentercom, a new thing by Gab, which I haven't used that much, but it seems to be like this is a great idea. I can't believe nobody's done this before, or if anyone has, I can't believe it's not gotten out like this. As dissentercom, you use your Gab account, and I mean, this isn't like a paid sponsorship or anything. This is something I just think is cool. People have been using it. It's like their own comment section. It's like a universal comment section for the entire internet. You put a URL to an article or something in the main website, dissenter.com. You put the URL there and you can comment on it, and it creates the comment section for that article. So you see all these sites that are disabling their comment sections because they don't want people commenting on the site, because that's what I do. Like, when I read an article, I then look at the comments to see what people thought. And a lot of news sites have been disabling their comment sections. Well, this seems to be the comment section for this YouTube video. 4,000 comments right now. So it's not like it's just something that you might find the occasional comment or two. Like, people are using this and talking about it. So I think this is neat. Like, you can see all the comments here for exactly. I just read like one or two of them there. All the comments on this video. So remember that, dissenter.com, because it's like a week old, not even that. But it seems to be a pretty cool thing. But of course, the top comments, we got Andrew Torba, there's Sargon on there. And apparently, I don't know who this lady, I'm trying to figure out who this lady is, because again, I've only watched clips of this whole episode so far of Joe Rogan, just the funnier parts. And apparently it's like this woman that is like, he brought on a lawyer to defend himself. Now again, like, the fact that he's coming on to begin with, the fact that he agreed to show up, like, I admit is something that I have to respect in that sense. I will respect anyone who, or give a person at least a little bit of respect for saying, hey, I will gladly meet my critics on air. And Tim Pool, of all people, is like the best possible critic, I think, to put against Jack Dorsey, because he knows his stuff. Tim Pool knows his stuff. But yeah, this is fantastic. So if you haven't already, make a Gab account. If you have a Gab account, use this, dissenter.com. It's a comment section. You can read what people are saying. If you read an article and you scroll down and you see there's no comment section, there might be. And if there's not, create one. But I think this is neat. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Just so for all the people that didn't believe me, yes, there are morons out there. Very popular morons. I didn't actually see his follower count there. 23,000 followers, so that's a considerable number of people paying attention to this dude, to these dudes, and they're calling Tim Pool far right. And that's why I specifically chose Tim Pool for this video, because of all the people, like Tim Pool, someone that is on the left. And it's not even, I wouldn't even really call it center left, but like kind of moderate left. He's being called a neo-Nazi lapdog, a Nazi propagandist. It's like, there's no pleasing these people. Whenever you see far right, just ignore it. Just ignore it. Because the thing is, the chance of it being true is pretty much nothing. And honestly, I don't even know if there's a single time where far right is ever true. Honestly. Because let's say you pick someone that is a legitimate neo-Nazi. Or someone that legitimately says, I think the white race is superior. Is genetically superior, morally superior, whatever. Let's say you find someone like that. They're not going to call him far right. They're going to call him white supremacist because they can get away with that. They can say white supremacist because that is a more accurate term than far right. So I think that whenever someone uses the term far right, it means that they couldn't have called them anything more specific because they didn't have any evidence. They just resorted to far right. But no, I think there's, holy crap, 16 minutes. This is now my reaction to every single video, is to look at the end and realize this went on for way longer than it should have. It's supposed to be 5 minutes was my goal. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have any other decent tweets of people calling Tim Pool far right, or anyone, like, again, it doesn't have to be Tim Pool. I'm just talking about, there are people that are moderately left. Like, moderate left-wingers who are being called far right now just because they associate with the far right or the moderate right or anyone like center right. Again, it's like when they point out Baked Alaska, James Alsop, there's people, I think they seem pretty, if they're not alt-right, they're definitely alt-light, but they're not neo-Nazis. Like I'm at least smart enough to make that distinction between calling them neo-Nazis, and for them, again, it's like, oh, Tim Pool, they couldn't get away with calling him a neo-Nazi, so they just called him a neo-Nazi lapdog, a Nazi propagandist. It's like, no, that's not what's going on here. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. Really helps me a lot. Hit the subscribe button. We're nearing 200 subscribers. Welcome to all my new subscribers. I got a bunch recently, and thank you very much for hitting that button. Let's see if we can get a few more people to do that. And thanks for watching.